to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And prayer. Ready? Dear Lord, thank you for letting us gather here today. Thank you for letting us talk about important issues in the state of South Carolina. Please watch over each one of us. As the seniors get their reins and as the knobs move up in the court, and watch over us for this election. All right. Mr. Walker, you're up.
All right. Give me 1 second.
I appreciate you having me. Thanks for inviting me.
Yes, sir. Of course.
Appreciate it. Thanks, cadets, for listening to me. I guess first I want to start off introducing myself. I'm Carlton Walker. I was born in downtown and went to District 15. And I'm a 4th generation veteran. And my dad is class of 69 from the Citadel. He's standing right there, Jay Walker. Thank my dad for being here. Jill here. Thank you, Jill, for coming, and my good friend Ross. All right, so first I want to cover a few things. I'm literally, raise your hand if you're going into the military. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, probably the whole room. As a military veteran myself, I served in Somalia in 1993 on board the USS Wasp. If you got my card here, the Wasp is on the front of it. I was an aviation boatswain's mate. Basically, I moved aircraft around the flight deck in the hangar bay. I was a blue shirt. I was an enlisted guy. We had an aircraft got shot down in the middle of the night, 2 in the morning. It was a Marine helicopter H-46. And we sent out 3 H-53s, and we sent 20 Marines on board each one of those. Secured the aircraft. The 2 pilots got compressed spines. The 2 door gunners were okay. The next morning, we brought that aircraft back to the flight deck on an H-53, carrying the H-46, and my chief picked me and another shipmate, carry our little monkey behind underneath that aircraft that was coming in and strap it to the deck. He knew he could count on me because I had actually stopped an H-53 from going overboard. It was in the hangar bay. We just pulled her out off the elevator. H-53 is the biggest bird we got. And the ship listed hard to, that would have been the port side. And as it listed and the tractor was pulling it up the hill, the 2 spikes that hold the aircraft broke. And all of a sudden the aircraft is free, started rolling back to the hangar. My job is walking the wing or the aircraft. I threw the chalk under it. I literally dove under the fuel tank, threw the chalk under it. I watched the wheel rock up on the chalk, and then it came back down. And my other shipmate on the other side, he just stood there and watched. My chief thanked me. He screamed at the other guy for not jumping under the aircraft to stop it from moving. So that happened before I was asked to help recover the downbird. Also had an opportunity to work under General Colin Powell. He came to my ship April 3rd. April 4th was his birthday. And just recently at the NRA fundraiser, it's called the Foundation. They basically teach kids gun safety and that kind of stuff. The guy that runs that was a Marine on board the Wasp in 1993. And he got sent home April 1st. He got shot. And I never had an opportunity to meet any of our Marines that got wounded when we were in Somalia until literally just a few months ago at this foundation. His job, our Navy SEALs captured one of the warlords, and then our Navy SEAL team gave it to his Marine squad to take and then give it to the customs, or the marshals, U.S. Marshals. And he said when they went to take this guy through the city, all hell came on him. And he took a round right through here, and it hit him in the, basically his wing. And his corpsman got shot through the shoulder. And they eventually were able to get medevaced out, and he killed the guy that shot at them two with a 50 cal, and he said, as he's riding in the 46, everybody's telling him, hey man, it looks like you got hit. He's like, no, that's the blood from the corpsman. And he's like, they're like, no man, check it out. He goes up, sure enough, he got one right here. So he got sent home April 1st, so he never got to meet Colin Powell. So the reason I'm telling you these stories, right now in our state, our family court system is not following the Constitution. Every man in this room, you're going to raise your hand and give an oath to defend two things: the Constitution and the flag. And when I was in boot camp, my company commander, they busted our ass for like 2 days, 3 days straight with about 15 minutes of sleep to push you to your limits, kind of like what you probably go through as a knob. Y'all got Hell Week, right? All right. So at the end of that butt whooping, you're so tired you didn't know your body could go that long without sleep and physically being your butt kicked. All of a sudden, our company commander brings out this American flag and he unfolds it. And he says, I want all of you to gather around, thumb and finger, grab that flag, chest to butt, all the way around, let's go. So we're chest to butt holding the flag. And all of a sudden he says, I want you to look at every single man. There's about 60 of you guys in this room right now. I want you to look at every single man in this room right now. And we're looking at each other, make eye contact, damn it. And all of a sudden he says the most profound thing I've ever heard in my life. He says, some of you in this room are never going to make it out of the United States military alive. You're going to die what that flag stands for in defending the Constitution. It's your only shot. I'll give you an opportunity to walk out this door and get an honorable discharge out of the Navy. Nobody left that room. And for all those who gave all, for me to come home after serving in Somalia and being a fourth generation veteran, World War I, World War II, Vietnam, and Somalia, for our court system in South Carolina not to be following the Constitution of the 14th Amendment, the 6th Amendment, and the 7th Amendment right now in our state. I will change that. So let me explain what I'm talking about. The 14th Amendment guarantees you, if someone's going to take your property, you have a right to have a jury decide if they're going to take your property. We have case law, U.S. Supreme Court case law that says if you try to take someone's child, their child is more valuable than their property, and that gives them the right to have a jury decide if DSS or family court or somebody's going to take their child. So guess what? We have the state of Texas that already follows this, that offers jury trials if the state is going to take your child. South Carolina doesn't offer that. I'm going to put a bill in. We're going to follow the 14th Amendment because like that Marine that got shot and we lost some guys in Somalia, those who gave all, I'll be damned if it's going to be on my watch that we're not going to follow the Constitution. Now, the 14th Amendment, that's pretty important. Texas already does it. So if Texas can do it, why can't South Carolina and why can't the rest of the United States? And what I'm talking about is the family court system is a $60 billion industry where people are getting rich off of taking children, which is absolutely insane and destroying lives. The next is the 6th Amendment of the Constitution. That gives you a right to a jury trial if you're looking at jail time. Wait a second. We have our own Supreme Court case called DeMarco versus DeMarco from 2011 that says, in our own Supreme Court, said our family court system is violating parents' rights by locking them up without an option to a jury. If you go in court and you're behind on child support, or your ex rules you in for a rule of show cause and she's asking for criminal contempt to put you in jail, wait, are you, they'll say, but it's civil. Wait a minute, if you're locked up in jail, is that criminal or civil? Oh wait, you're treated like a criminal. So that means the 6th Amendment kicks in. And our own Supreme Court of South Carolina said in 2011, case DeMarco versus DeMarco, that our family courts are violating parents' rights to the 6th Amendment of the Constitution. I will put a bill in, I will codify DeMarco versus DeMarco to make our family courts follow that. If you're looking at, and I'll explain once I'm done explaining the 14th, the 6th, and the 7th Amendment, I'll explain why it's important to have a jury versus a judge. The next thing is the 7th Amendment of the Constitution. Guess what? Georgia. Anybody from Georgia in here? Raise your hand. Okay, so we got a few. So, Georgia actually follows the 7th Amendment of the Constitution for family court. The 7th Amendment, if you're looking at any civil amount over $20, somebody wants you to pay them, you have the right to raise your hand and say, I'd like a jury to decide if I have to pay these fees. Check it out. Georgia offers jury trials for child support, alimony, legal fees you got to pay your ex's lawyer, guardian fees you have to pay the guardian, any kind of fees. You get to raise your hand and say, I'd like a jury to decide if I have to pay $20,000 in child support because my ex, I'm rich, but I never spent $20,000 even when we were together on my child. What do you mean I have to pay $20,000 a month? That's not fair. She's not going to spend that on the child. So, we're going to have the 7th Amendment enforced in South Carolina, the 6th Amendment, and the 14th. And guess what? My dad's sitting right here. Y'all all know a Citadel cadet fired the first shot of the Civil War. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Guess what? He's not done all that. Hey, I'll tell you a little bit about him. I'm getting off the subject, and we'll get back to firing the first shot of the Civil War. This man right here, he travels playing. He was in band company, and y'all like the horn and wakes you up and all that. He literally goes around playing live taps at fallen soldiers' funerals for free. And one of the most touching things, November of 2020, he was diagnosed that he's got cancer. And he still does this. If you go to my website right now, BoCarltonWalker.com, and click on Experience, scroll down, I filmed him playing taps with cancer as he's freaking. That's a good man. And I firmly believe he represents this school like everybody would want him to. So, back to cadets firing the first shot of the Civil War. Next year is the 160th anniversary of the end of the Civil War. I want to make South Carolina courts an example for the rest of the nation to follow. And next April, on that anniversary, I'm going to be at Fort Sumter, and we're going to have a lot of people there, and we're going to fire the first shot for the Family Civil Court War to make South Carolina family courts an example for the rest of the nation to follow. And if you don't believe this, right now, family court is the equivalent to modern day slavery. They're literally taking away children. Yeah, some people in here are shaking their heads. Yes, because they're taking away children without your constitutional right that some of you in this room might give your life for the country. And I don't want your life being wasted in vain for our court system not to follow the Constitution of the United States. So that's the family court as far as the court system that I'm going to reform. And a few other things I'd like to talk to you about. Two topics that are very, very controversial. One, I was always taught you want to be successful, find someone that's where you want to be. All you have to do is figure out what they did and do it. Pretty simple, right? So, a friend of mine, Matt Lieber, he flipped the seat 116, which was a Democrat seat since Reconstruction. So guess what? I was like, Matt, what did you do? He said, well, I pointed out that the Democrat is for men and girls sports, and the guy I'm running against, Mr. J.A. Moore, he's for men and little girl sports, based on his vote from 2022. Now, a lot of people get upset when we bring this topic up. I have a sign, my signs say, Vote Carl Walker, no more men and little girl sports. And what do I mean by that? Well, if it's an all-girls sports, if you got, and all the girls are XX chromosomes, and you have XY chromosomes, you cannot compete with the girls, even if you believe that you were a boy and you are now dressing as a girl and you want to play with the girls. Sorry, you can't box girls in the face. You can't go take all their trophies. That's not fair for women. And literally 100 years ago, women couldn't even vote. And for all they've been through, it's not cool for men who dress like women to go take their trophies, or in some states, they're taking their scholarships. So I have a bill right here. Our current law on that subject, Safe Women's Sports Act, Mr. Moore voted against stopping that. And I have this thing right here. So our current law says if you're born as a female or you're born as a male, if you're born as a female, you can compete. Well, there are some situations where girls who were doctor said you're a female, they have a vagina, but they also have XY chromosomes, and they went through some type of male puberty growing up. That is not normal, and that's not fair to go take all the girls' trophies. So 12 states have the XY chromosome bill that's right here. It's basically, if you have XY chromosomes, you can't play with the girls in the sports with XX chromosomes. That's James Steeple, another guy that's running for the 116th. James is going to have to wait. This next bill I want to talk to you about, well, actually, I got one more touchy subject. All right, so this year, January 17th, I actually went to Columbia. I sat through the whole entire hearings concerning, we had a bill to stop MUSC and other facilities in South Carolina from transitioning children, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12-year-olds, from one sex to the other. And on my website, or you can go to nomorejamore.com, there's a very sad story about this little girl named Chloe. Any of y'all in this room 20 years old? Yeah, there's one, a couple. All right, so check this out. Imagine your life 10 years ago, you're a female, and they convince you to go on hormone blockers to stop you from going through puberty. And at age 15, 5 years ago, they cut both your breasts off. And then 4 years ago, you decided you don't want to be a boy anymore. And none of the doctors or counselors would help you go back the other way to actually being a girl. And now Chloe is 20 years old. She regrets her decision. She says she got a lot of attention. Oh, you're trans. Oh, great. Listen, a child is not old enough to make that decision. Go through puberty, come out on the other side. When you turn 18, if you still want to do that, have no problem. But don't let children change their sex. Now Chloe is 20 years old, has no breasts, has a stick figure like a boy, and she can't have kids. And then there's another story of a boy who went through that same thing, had his penis turned into a vagina, and now he's an adult, like over 18, and he's dating a girl. Wait a minute. Would that make him? No, he's not a lesbian. That make him straight. So that kind of stuff has to stop. All right, so that's a pretty touchy subject. The next thing I want to cover, let's see. Well, we'll cover a little corruption. How about that? Who thinks judicial corruption needs to end? Everybody in the room. So I actually went to Columbia and I testified at the Judicial Ad Hoc Committee meeting. And I had 3 minutes to speak. I was like, oh, I'll speak for 3 minutes. I used 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and I thought I was done. And my dad actually spoke too, and that committee meeting is on my website, Hope Crawl Longer. But then the committee started asking me questions for like 20 minutes because I came in there with solutions. And it was almost bipartisan that they all thanked me for coming with solutions on how to fix the Judicial Merit Selection Commission. Who thinks we should have equal representation from around the state? Yeah. My suggestion was, I'm a residential builder. In the Builders Commission, they have literally one commissioner from each of the 7 congressional districts from around the state. I suggested that for the Judicial Ad Hoc Committee. The Judicial Merit Selection Commission. I suggested that. But they didn't put it in there. That makes no sense. So you can have a whole bunch of lawyers from one part of the state controlling all the judges that get elected in the state. I still think we should do that. Also, we need term limits. Because what's going on in South Carolina, there's about 3 or 4 real powerful lawyers who get to select these judges, and they've been on this committee for like 20-something years. And what I think should happen, they should be limited to two-year terms if they're going to be on that committee to select judges in the state. Because there have been situations where these lawyers were put onto a case just to go in front of the judge. They didn't even practice that kind of law, but because they were standing there and the judge was coming up for reappointment, guess who they're going to decide for? Wait, the judge wants to keep their seat. So we got to stop that kind of stuff from going on. But anyway, I spoke. It was bipartisan. They all thanked me for my suggestions, and instead of just showing up complaining, they actually thanked me for giving them solutions. You can go watch that. All right, so we got that part covered. The judicial corruption thing. Raise your hand if you know who Alex Murdaugh is. He killed his wife and son, and he pled guilty to stealing millions of dollars. Well, my opponent, Alex Murdaugh, funded his campaign, and he has never returned Alex Murdaugh's money to the victims fund, or South Carolina law says if you accept campaign contributions and you can't keep them, you have to give them to the Children's Fund of South Carolina for them to help kids. My opponent has done neither one of those. All right, so let's see if we're missing anything. Let's talk about the CWP. I'm also a concealed weapons permit instructor. That basically means I can teach people to get their concealed weapons permit. And my opponent, his sister was one of the Charleston 9 that got killed. Horrible situation. 9 wonderful people died. And when he ran the first time, he promised everybody more justice. He was going to get more justice. He's done. He got one little bill passed in 2019 that had nothing to do with that. Had to do with mental health. But since then, he's gotten nothing done. And he is a Democrat in a supermajority of Republicans, and he cannot get anything done because of the way he votes. I mean, he's voting against a bill to protect women's sports and to protect children from being sexually transitioned. All right, let me explain how we can make our churches or our places of worship and our schools safer. Who would agree you'd like a church or your place of worship or your schools where your kids go to be safer and not soft targets? Raise your hand. Yeah, like everybody in the room. It's common sense. Now, I'm a licensed concealed weapons permit instructor. If our current law, if I walk into a church with my concealed weapon, I can go to jail because I don't have the permission of the pastor. And if I walk into a school, I will also go to jail because I don't have permission to carry on the school grounds. Basically, Dylan Ruth knew this law that nobody in that church would have a firearm to shoot back. And most of these POSs that shoot up churches or schools, they know that those are soft targets and they're not going to have anybody shooting bullets back at them. They're cowards. Just like y'all all raise your hand about the death penalty coming back in South Carolina. I say for Dylan Ruth, we need to make our jails like they used to be. Your butt better be scared about going to jail. Dylan Ruth should not be kept in solitary confinement where he gets to eat 3 square meals a day and doesn't have to worry about getting his ass whooped every day. Like, if you do something stupid like that, I want to see you get put in population because I promise everybody else will be like, man, I ain't doing that stuff. That guy, you see on the news, he got his ass whooped every single day. You need to be held accountable for your actions. Here's how we make our churches safer. If somebody, by the way, to get a concealed weapons permit in South Carolina, you got to go through a SLED background check. That's South Carolina like FBI. You have to go through an FBI background check. Then you have to qualify on the range in front of someone like me. And not only that, you got to go to class, and there's 50 questions that you have to answer and pass. And the left will tell you, oh, we want more training. J.A. Moore even say that over and over. We want more training. Well, we have it. If somebody gets their concealed weapons permit, I shouldn't have to ask the pastor to carry in the church. I also shouldn't have to ask to carry on my children's, at their school. And I think if somebody goes through the training, they should be able to carry their firearm in the school and at church. And we've all seen those videos where somebody actually they came to shoot up a church, and the guy from where I'm at to the entry door, he saw the guy pulling out from under his trench coat. Bow, bow, dropped him like that. That ended it. If nobody wants, all these cowards also have a website called Citadel and Cadets.com. You can go watch these videos. They're ASP videos. But these cowards, they never pick hard targets. Do you ever hear of them coming to shoot up a biker bar or steal stuff from a biker bar or steal stuff from a police station? No. They only pick soft targets. We got to make our churches, places of worship, and our schools hard targets. And that's pretty much, I need some help. The way we're going to win, J.A. Moore is very vulnerable. Most of my district is consisted of about 9,000 Democrats, 7,000 Republicans, and about 9,000 swing voters. And we are going to focus on the 4,000 swing voters, like Democrats, like Republicans, and the swing voters, and point out most people are not for the stuff that JA is for. And if we do that, and I need some help going door to door to make, we got to touch every single door. We got to make phone calls to every single person and let them know. We got two websites, votepromptlonger.com or nomorejamore.com. And so if you have an opportunity, I got a sign-up sheet. If you'd like to sign up to go door to door, that would be great. Also, you can scan the QR code to donate money. You can donate $20. You can donate $5. And if y'all have any questions, let me know.
That are taking down and tearing down your signs.
Oh,
I mean, this is the most ridiculous thing.
All right, so he's got a good point. If y'all been following me on Facebook, I have approximately 40,000 views, 3,000 comments. I sold Cutco kitchen knives in college. I sold $700,000 worth of kitchen knives. I was inducted in their Salesman Hall of Fame, Vector Marketing Hall of Fame. And I came up with an idea. Do I make professional signs like everybody else? Or do I make homemade signs as a residential builder, 2 2x4s? We wrap houses with Tyvek. And I took a stencil. I went to the College of Charleston. I was a theater major, did set design. I'm like, dude, I'm going to make a stencil with my name on it. And we're going to spray paint the Tyvek. We're going to use roofing tack. And it's a 4-foot by 6-foot sign. It says, vote Carlton Walker. And then underneath it says, no more men and no girls sports. I've had 6 signs vandalized. One, they got out their car, they sawed the 2x4 here, and they sawed this one. And then I've had 3 taken, and to go. Hey, I'm going to explain this. This sign right here, one like it, ended up in the back of my opponent's car. And I took a picture. And then SLED investigated it, and Suffolk County Sheriff's Office. And the car came forward. I'm like, why is there no arrest going on, man?
And this is a crime. It's a crime.
Yeah, it's a crime. It's absolutely a crime to steal a sign. So, that SLED explained to me that they don't know who put it in the car. Mr. Moore's like, I don't know who put it in the car. You know what this is called? Hold up. You know what this is called? It's called lipstick on the underwear. If you come home to your girlfriend or your wife and you got lipstick on your underwear, but it's not hers, she can't prove who you were with, but you got lipstick on your underwear. You think that's going to go over very well? Absolutely not. So, there's been people, and matter of fact, Channel 2 News did a news story about it. So I've had 6 signs vandalized, 3 taken, the big ones, and one of these somehow ended up in Mr. Moore's car. That's called election interference, by the way. Any other questions? Jill?
Tell them what your district is so they know geographically where you are.
All right, so District 15 consists of Charleston, Berkeley County, Goose Creek, Hanahan, and North Charleston. So, if you go I-26, get off at Ashley Phosphate, turn left, everything on that side of the interstate of Ashley Phosphate, heading towards Dorchester Road, to the railroad track, go down all of Midland Park, all the way up to the fairgrounds. That's North Charleston. Charleston Southern is in my district. Deer Park from Northwoods Mall, when you get off 52 to go to Goose Creek. As soon as you get to like Green Ridge, that starts District 15, both sides of the road. Go up 52. Once you pass, I guess that would be 78. And once you get up Goose Creek, everything to the right of 52, all of Goose Creek, all the way up to Liberty Hall. Turn right on Liberty Hall. By the way, where that tank got hit by the train, that was in my district. I did a video, I'm going to get off the subject a little bit, where to prevent that kind of stuff, we need a level 75-foot rule before the track and level 75-foot rule after the track, and we won't have 18-wheelers getting stuck on railroad tracks. So, turn left or turn right on Liberty Hall, go to the end. Liberty Hall neighborhood on the right, on the left is part of the district. Turn right on Henry Brown, drive down to Red Bank Road, turn right on Red Bank Road. Everything on both sides of the track, and then go all the way down to back to North Charleston. And it's also Snake Road, and you turn down Foster Creek, 3 neighborhoods on the right, and one of the neighborhoods on the right is called Carlton Place. So if you live in Carlton Place, you got to vote for Carlton. And the November 5th at our victory party, I want to see everybody there, and we're going to do the Carlton dance.
That's a great idea.
Absolutely. So put me, hey, and my slogan's put me in, coach. And the reason I'm asking you to put me in, coach, I want to give your little girls an opportunity to win trophies. And also put me in, coach, means if I'm your elected official, or my coach, even if you don't live in my district, if you call me with an issue, and especially if you live in my district and you call me with an issue, and I find out someone in our government wronged you, and you're right and they're wrong, there's going to be hell to pay. The whole reason I'm running, number one reason, I had an issue, and I reached out to the Charleston County delegation, representatives and senators, including my representative, Mr. Moore, got a 3-page letter from me, hand signed. He never responded to me. The rich guy in District 99, Mark Smith, Representative Mark Smith, responded to me with an answer of what to do. You'd think the rich guy would ignore the little handyman contractor in North Charleston, but he didn't. And I want to be exactly like Mark Smith. He's a great example, and if you live in District 99, you have an awesome representative.
Great.
All right, thank you.